Well, good morning, everyone. Oh, and welcome to Living Beyond Limits and our outdoor service. I'm so glad it's warming up. I know when I got up this morning, it was freezing cold outside. It is so much nicer now. So I'm so glad that you joined us today in the park to get to be together, to get to celebrate Spirit and celebrate our love and connection with each other. So I'm so grateful to see you here. And so we will begin our service today by me reading our vision statement to you. So if you know it, I invite you to join along. And if you don't, I invite you just to take it in. It goes like this. We are a sanctuary where people can discover and reveal the presence of God within their own being and experience their oneness with all life. Through the realization of this inner presence of love and peace, we give way to the evolutionary impulse of the divine and become a beneficial presence in the world. So that's what we're doing here at Living Beyond Limits. As we come and we attend, it helps us to remember that, yes, indeed, we are eternally connected to that divine presence. That one presence, that one power, that one life that expresses itself within and through everything is always closer than our very breathing. That it is a presence of love and peace and wholeness and light and truth and power. And what happens is as we come to recognize and realize and stand in that knowing that that presence is within us and that it is always right where we are, filling our lives and filling us, that then we have access to it. That then we have access to that love and that peace and that wholeness and the truth when the world is not reflecting back to us love or kindness or telling us that we are whole or that we are enough. It puts us in a place of power and it puts us in a place of choice, because then we can bring that forward. And as we do so, it brings us peace. As we do so, we are able to love other people and bring kindness to this world. As we do so, we give way to that presence of the divine that is always seeking to unfold itself in a greater way. So as we do that, we participate in our own spiritual evolution as well as the collective evolution of humanity, because we are all connected to each other, that presence unfolds itself everywhere. And so I say thank you to each and every single one of you for walking this spiritual path, for answering the call of your own spirit, and for being a beneficial presence in this world. And so I would like to, we're going to begin our service. I'd like to invite our practitioner, David Conant, up. He's going to lead us in an evocation as we begin to evoke an awareness of the presence of Spirit that is always right where we are, that is clearly so present here this morning, and do a contemplative reading for us. And so I invite you to begin to settle into yourself and into the words of the song We Are. You can sing along if you know them, or just allow yourself to rest in that place of quiet, but to allow yourself to start to turn within and to slow down and to just become fully present.
I am grateful today that we are together in the park as Living Beyond Limits. As we take time now to recognize and affirm that there is an invisible presence that is the one source. I may not be able to see it, but I sure can feel it. It flows through me and it radiates into my life. I also know the same is true for everyone here. It is the same for all forms of life. Everything is a manifestation of God. There is no doubt in my mind about this. This one source, the Spirit of God, is present today as living beyond limits. I bless Reverend Jennifer. I am grateful for the Spirit that flows through her and into our lives. The words she speaks connect us with the Spirit in our lives. I bless Ray, and I know that all he does for us and for living beyond limits is certainly Spirit manifest. I bless everyone here as we experience our oneness with Spirit. And so it is. Good morning. My reading today is from 365 Days of Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. The title is, I Dwell in the Household of God. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. John 14:2. It goes like this. The household of God is the household of perfection. It is the secret place of the Most High. The people in this house are all divine beings. Nothing can enter the consciousness of these people which contradicts the unity of good. Each and every member of this household is at peace with all other members. There is a community of peace, of understanding, of fellowship, of love, and unity. In this household of God, which is any man's household who declares it to be such, there is no bickering, no jealousy, no avenue through which any type of negativity may operate. It is not only a place of peace, it is also one of joy. It is a place of happiness and general contentment. Here is warmth, color, beauty. This earthly dwelling place symbolizes the divine harmony of the kingdom of God. No one is a stranger within this household. It is protected from all fear and from every sense of loss. Nothing enters it but joy, integrity, and friendship. The same good I realize belongs to everyone else. I do not desire a good for myself, which is greater than the good I desire for all people. Neither do I deny myself the good I affirm for all others. In this household, the host is God, the living Spirit Almighty, and all who dwell in this place are a guest of the eternal host. And so it is.
Thank you, David. And so the holidays have arrived. Here we are. And so happy holidays, everybody. You know, this is usually such a great time of year where we get to actually experience and celebrate the connection that we have with each other, the connection that we have with our family and with our friends and with the people that we love. And we do that through things like having holiday parties or going to holiday parties and having holiday meals together, maybe going and have to a cookie exchange or to a holiday luncheon, or maybe even sitting in front of the fire in either your house or one of your friends' homes and visiting and being together and having some sort of a hot toddy. I think this is also the time of year where we get to experience that connection with this whole family of humanity that we live in. In fact, Hamilton Wright maybe said, "Blessed is the season which engages the whole world in a conspiracy of love." Isn't this such a time of year where we get to express and experience the love that we have for each other? And we experience that love for each other through lots of different ways and through lots of different activities, those ones that I mentioned of being together, but also even of gift giving, of giving and receiving presents. We experience that connection with that larger family of humanity, even through things like participating in Project Shepherd that we were invited to do this year, to buy presents for kids of families who are in need in the city of Lakewood. The practitioners and I this year are contributing money to Sukasa as a Christmas gift. And it's as we do that sort of outreach, we experience that connection that we have with those people that we don't even know. I think we experience that shared connection that we have with humanity through listening to Christmas choirs sing. I think we experience that connection through participating in holiday rituals, rituals of Kwanzaa, rituals of Hanukkah, rituals of Christmas, where we are sharing in a ritual with people across this country and across this entire world. And I don't know about you, but that makes me feel and be aware of that connection that I have with everyone. We experience that connection, I think, with humanity through doing things like trimming our Christmas tree or lighting the candles on a menorah or even hanging a wreath on the door. It's part of this common humanity and part of being part of this family. One of our greatest human needs is to feel connected to each other, to feel connected to the people that we love and care about, but to also feel connected to the whole and to feel connected to humanity. And so normally, this holiday season is filled with opportunities to experience that connection. It's normally filled with opportunities to love and to receive love and to be connected with each other. It is also a very human need to belong and to feel like we belong, to feel loved and to know that we matter. I'd like to share a story with you from Chicken Soup for the Soul, and it's called The Gentlest Need. And it says, at least once a day, our old black cat comes to one of us in a way that we've all come to see as a special request. It does not mean he needs to be fed or wants to be let out or any sort of thing like that. His need is for something very different. If you have a lap handy, he'll jump into it. If you don't, he's likely to stand there looking wistful until you make one for him. Once in it, he begins to vibrate almost before you stroke his back, scratch his chin, or tell him over and over what a good kitty he is. Then his motor really revs up. He squirms to get comfortable, and he makes, quote, big hands. Every once in a while, one of the purrs gets out of control and turns into a snort. He looks at you with wide eyes of adoration, and he gives you the cat's long, slow blink of ultimate trust. After a while, little by little, he quiets down. If he senses that it's all right, he may stay in your lap for a cozy nap. But he's just as likely to hop down and stroll away about his own business. Either way, he's all right. Our daughter puts it simply, Blackie needs to be purred. In our household, he isn't the only one that has that need. I share it, and so does my wife. We know the need isn't exclusive to any one age group. Still, because I'm a parent as well as a teacher, I associate it being with youngsters. With their quick, impulsive need for a hug, a warm lap, a hand held out, a coverlet tucked in. Not because anything's wrong, not because anything needs doing, but just because that's the way we are. There are a lot of things I'd like to do for children. If I could do just one, it would be this: to guarantee every child everywhere at least one good purring a day. Cats, like kids, need time to purr. We all need time to purr. And I think that example of the cat being in the lap is such an example of that cat being so content and happy because the cat feels connected, because the cat knows that it's loved and cared for, that it belongs to you or with you, and that it matters. Brene Brown said, "We are biologically, cognitively, physically, and spiritually wired to love, to be loved, and to belong. When those needs are not met, we don't function as we're meant to. The absence of love and belonging will always lead to suffering." And so as human beings, we have that need to belong and to matter and to feel connected. And because we're spiritual beings, we also have the need to actually give our love, to share our love, and to contribute to something that is greater than we are. I think that's one of the reasons we give and receive presents. We get to share with someone when we give them a gift, our love and our appreciation for them. We get to share it with them and for them. When we give a gift to another person, it allows them to know that they matter, that they live in our hearts, and that we love them. And I know lots of things are different this year with COVID. Lots of the things that we do or that we don't do will be different this year. I know at Thanksgiving, normally we go to the Conant's house and have a Thanksgiving potluck and get to be together and experience that love and connection. We didn't get to do that this year. Normally, every year we go to Lakewood Center Mall and give out hundreds of hugs to that family of humanity that we've never met before, and how much we get to experience our connection, and we didn't do that this year. Very often we go Christmas caroling to a convalescent home. We didn't do that this year. All of those things, we usually adopt a family at church, and then we buy presents for them and bring them, and sometimes have wrapping parties, or sometimes they're supposed to be unwrapped. But we get to celebrate each other. And all of those things allow us to experience our connection with each other. And all of those things allow us to contribute to something that is greater than we are. And I know not just are things different at what we're doing at Living Beyond Limits this year, but things are different in our own personal lives also. Because I would guess that most of us will not be attending parties this year, and we won't be attending large family gatherings. And new COVID orders came out this week, as you know, that outdoor gatherings, I don't even know about indoor gatherings, but outdoor gatherings are supposed to be limited to 5 people or less from one single household, unless you're attending a church service or a protest. Then we're still allowed to meet. So I'm so grateful that we still get to be here and be in the company of each other here. Dining On-premise dining ended this week, even outdoors. We're being asked to stay home unless it's a necessity to go out and do something. And as the weather continues to get colder, it becomes even less inviting, at least for me, to spend time visiting people outside. And so the title of my talk today is Home for the Holidays, because I think many of us will be staying home for the holidays this year. And so what I'm talking about really is that this year, this holiday season is inviting us to get creative in our thinking. It's inviting us to get outside of our box of what we normally do at this holiday season. It's inviting us to be creative and get outside of our box so that we might experience that love and that connection that is so important to our hearts and our souls. And so I think we need to ask ourselves, how can I spend this season in a way where I can feel deeply connected to those people that I care about, to that family of humanity? How can I experience this holiday season in a way that allows me to share my love and to contribute? How can I do this holiday season in a way that allows me to still feel like I belong, even when I'm staying home? And I think the first thing that we need to do, actually to do that, is to remember and to remind ourselves and to rest in that knowing that we are, each and every single one of us, eternally connected to each other. Whether we are in close proximity to each other or not, whether we can touch those people physically or not, we are still connected to them. We are connected to the people that we love, for they live in our hearts. We are eternally connected because we have made a love connection with them. We begin by remembering that we are eternally connected to the loved ones and to this family of humanity. Marianne Williamson says, every problem emerges from the belief that we are separate from one another. And every answer emerges from let me say it again. Every problem emerges from the false belief that we are separate from one another. And every answer emerges from the realization that we are not. I think some of what makes us feel like we're experiencing loss or sadness or feels like suffering during this holiday season comes out of that false belief that we are telling ourselves that somehow we aren't connected to those people that we care about. But the truth is, we are always connected to those people we care about. We are eternally connected to everyone. Those people that we love, they live in our hearts, and that connection is unbreakable. That connection that we have with humanity is unbreakable, for we are connected to each person, heart to heart and soul to soul, one in love and one in spirit. Alan Wilson Watts, who was a British writer and speaker, and he's known for interpreting and popularizing Buddhism, Taoism, and Hinduism to the West, said, "If you go off into a far, far forest and get very quiet, you'll come to understand that you are connected with everything." And I think every single one of us has had that experience, that we are connected with everything. But I think it takes at this year, during the holidays, to remind ourselves of that and to allow ourselves to move into that felt sense and to rest in that knowing. Reminding ourselves and resting in that knowing makes it less painful not being together physically. As we remember that, as we move into this holiday season, it acts as a healing balm to our hearts and to our souls. And so I think we're also being asked to be creative and to look within ourselves and to ask ourselves, what can I do this holiday season so that I can fulfill that deep need that I have in myself for connection? And so what I'd like you to do actually is just to close your eyes for a minute and ask yourself that. What can I do this holiday season so that I can fulfill my deep need for connection? What can I do to fulfill that need for connection? And you may open your eyes. And so on our Zoom conference this week, that's one of the things that we talked about. And I know for me, I had the realization that one thing that I can do to feel connected is actually to listen to Christmas music. Because when I listen to those traditional songs, it makes me feel connected to people across this world, knowing also that throughout history, people have been singing these songs and listening to these songs, and there are people who are playing those songs in their homes right now. And in remembering that, I feel connected to those people. In remembering that, I recognize that there's a sacredness to that, and I feel that sacredness. I realize that another thing that I can do this holiday season is actually to bake and then to give baked goods to people. Because what happens when I'm baking is I'm actually pouring myself into that thing that I'm baking. I get to put my love and my care and my thoughts about them into that when I'm baking. And therefore it seems so much richer and meaningful to me, and I experience my connection with them to such a greater degree than if I just went out and bought a present and gave them a present. I realize that I can make phone calls to people and actually spend time, real time, talking with people that I care about on the phone and connecting with them again, because I don't do that a whole lot. Some of the other people that were on that Zoom call said they can do things like sit on their front porch and say hi to people as they walk by, to wish them a happy holiday and to feel that connection with the people in the neighborhood. People said they could write cards. When's the last time you sent Christmas cards? I don't know about you, but I used to do it, and I quit doing it years ago because I was just simply too busy. People said they could write Christmas cards and actually write personal notes in those cards and to tell people how much they mean to them. They could make phone calls instead of texting people. So what will you do this holiday season so you can experience that connection with the people that you love and care about, and your connection with the family of humanity? And so my invitation to you this holiday season is to do whatever it is that works for you so that you can feel connected to those people that you love and care about. To do what works for you so that you can feel connected to this family of humanity. And to do the things that enable you to feel connected to that God of your own being. Because really, when we do any of those things, extending our love in any way to the people of this world, we are giving way to that divine presence within us and experiencing that divine presence of our own beings. And so, enjoy the beauty of this season and the magic of this holiday season. And as a result of doing what works for you, you will be having a fulfilling season, connected to your own heart and connected to your own spirit and connected to that divine presence within you. And so I wish to each and every single one of you a deeply happy and joy-filled and fulfilling holiday season this year. So blessings to you. And so I invite you to join me in an affirmative prayer. How good it is just to take this moment and to take this opportunity to remember and to turn my attention to that divine presence, that presence of God, of Spirit, that one from whence all things have come, and that one presence and power and life and love that we live in. For I recognize that this presence is everywhere, that it is the thing that animates our bodies. It is the thing that breathes our lungs and beats our hearts. It is the life essence in every tree and plant and flower. It is the love that connects each and every single one of us to each other across this globe. It is the thing within us that inspires us and motivates us to be a beneficial presence in this world and to share our hearts and to share our love. And so I recognize that we are eternally connected to the allness and the fullness of the divine. For it is the very essence of our hearts and our spirits and our souls that we walk in that presence, with that presence, and we walk as that presence in this world. And so today I recognize that everywhere we go, in everything we do, we are led and we are guided. In everything we do, we are inspired and uplifted. In everything we do, we are connected to God and to each other. And so as we move through this holiday season, we do this as the expression of love and light and beauty and magnificence. And we are a blessing to ourselves and a blessing to everyone around us. And so I accept the blessing of this holy season, this season of love, this season of beauty and of light and of good. And I revel in all of it, knowing that we are all blessed because of it. And so I release this prayer into that creative law of the universe, and I say, thank you, God, for all of this. And so it is. And so I have a couple of invitations for you. One is we will be meeting here in 2 weeks for a candle lighting service. Actually, I'm not going to have announcements for you yet. I'm going to invite David to come forward to lead us in an affirmation.
If you would repeat after me. Today I recognize my oneness with all people.
Today I recognize my oneness with all people.
I know that I am blessed because of this connection.
I know that I am blessed because of this connection.
My life is very rich
My life is very rich
with the love I give and the love I get from others.
The love that I give and the love that I get from others.
It is with my heart and soul
with my heart and soul.
that I experience my connection with everything.
I experience my connection with everything.
And so it is.
And so actually, really, it is now time for our offering. So if you brought an offering today, I invite you to come and place it in the basket here. And if you didn't bring an offering today, I would like to thank those people very much who are regularly contributing. Come on up. Regularly contributing via PayPal and Zelle and the different ways that people are doing that. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. And so I invite you to join me for a blessing of this offering. And so really it is with a grateful heart for each and every single one of us, a grateful heart for living beyond limits, a grateful heart for each and every single one of our spiritual awakening, that I bless this offering today, knowing that it absolutely blesses each and every single one of us. For it is the thing that allows Living Beyond Limits to continue to do business, continue to be a place of inspiration, a place that feeds our hearts and souls and supports us on our spiritual path. And so I bless this offering, I bless this community, and I invite you with me to send a blessing out into this entire world, to every heart and every home, every city and every country, every place, and to bless the planet herself. And I say thank you, God, and so it is. And so now I have some invitations for you. One is that we will be back here in 2 weeks to have a candlelighting ceremony for the holidays, honoring the different religious traditions of the world. So I invite you to come and join us for that. We have been working, I should say, Pat Scott and Shelley Reeves have been working diligently on getting the new directory, Living Beyond Limits directory out. So if you have not been in our directory and would like to be, Pat, will you raise your hand? You can talk to Pat today. She can get your information from you and take your picture that can be in the directory. You will also, we're going to email those out in the next few days, I'm guessing, so you'll be receiving a directory. If you have changed anything, your address or your phone number, your cell phone or anything, make sure that you talk to Pat today that she has your correct information. Anything else I'm supposed to say about that? That's it. So that directory should be out very soon. What else? We are still continuing to do Ministry of Prayer, so if you have a prayer request, you can tell Barbara Conant today, and we will support you in the next week in prayer. She has lots of prayer shawls at home. If you would like to be gifted with a prayer shawl or gift someone else, talk to Barbara, and she will make sure that that happens. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It gives you a one-click to watch the videos. And we are not having coffee in the park right now because even though we are allowed to gather for a church service, I think coffee in the park is a social activity, and since we're being invited to not do that unless you're from the same household, we are not doing coffee in the park right now, but we are doing Thursday evening Zoom, which is some sort of spiritual practice and getting to connect with each other on a very intimate and loving way. So we invite you to join us for that. That's it for my invitations. I love each and every single one of you, and I'm so grateful to get to see you today. So have a great week, and we'll see you back here in 2 weeks.